Hello, this is Kunal, reporting on YouTube for Kashmir Korner, and today is the first video. And in the first video, I'm gonna talk about the different Kashmiri spices that we have available for our main dishes that we usually use on our dishes. So I'm gonna show you how to make a dish today called Yakhni. Yakhni is a yogurt-based dish. And it starts with the spices because first you have to select the spices and put them in the yogurt. Like I said, it's a yogurt-based dish. The first spice is called cardamom, large cardamom, and there's 3 large ones into the mortar. And then we can also put little cardamoms, about 5 or 6. Next, we add the I forgot the name of it. Cumin seed. White. It's called white cumin. And for this, you just take like a pinchful, or this much or so. Maybe half a teaspoon, less than that. And then we have a few black peppers, about 10. And we see all the spices. Next one is cloves. A lot of hot spices we have. And aromatic. Really add flavor and aroma to the food, which are both necessary for you to enjoy your dish. And we put 4 cloves. So now you can see all the different spices, the green cardamom, the black cloves, and black peppers. And then we have a cinnamon stick that we add, a large cinnamon stick. Make sure you break it up in pieces, because then you have to, next step is to grind all the spices. When you grind the spices, then the whole spice is powderized, and when you do that before you cook it, there's more flavor and taste and health properties, medicinal herbal qualities, which can supposedly have health benefits and more nutrients too, I would assume. Anyway, so this is the grinding process. It takes a bit of time, a bit of energy. I remember seeing a picture back in the old days of there was a scene of a village or something about their day to day. And in India, there's a little bit of gender segregation in society, so even today. But in that picture, all the men were like in a boat. I guess they were fishing or something, and the women were kind of like on the pier. And I saw one woman with a stick bigger than her body, or a pestle bigger than her body, and a big mortar, and she was just grinding it like this on the floor. And I guess they were doing a lot of spices at the same time. So this is a yogurt. We don't make it fresh. We actually get it in the supermarket, but it's Indian yogurt, dahi. Anyway, so you got to put a lot of it, because yakhni is a yogurt-based soup dish, a bit soupy. So as you see, we put quite a bit of yogurt, 1 pound. Okay, we have 2 pounds of chicken and 1 pound of yogurt, and you already saw how much spices we put. It's right here, actually. You see it on the plate.
Spices are here.
And this is the size of my hand, so you can compare how much spices is there. So what we do next is we whip the yogurt and basically just put a lot of friction and motion in order to smoothen it out and get it more like a liquid. Make it more like a liquid. So as you see, we're evenly applying the same kind of circular motion, centrifugal force maybe, to the different parts of the container, which contains the yogurt, and you see it's becoming more fiber, I guess. It's not a solid anymore. It's becoming more consistent throughout. Okay, so now that we have done this, I believe the next step is to add the spices. No, actually, first we have to add a raw egg to the mix. I really don't know the nutrition or the cooking science, but suppose they say for consistency or something, texture. For many different reasons they add eggs.
So that the yogurt doesn't split when heated. That's why egg.
Yeah, I guess that would be consistency, right? Maintain consistency. I read that somewhere, I think. Anyhow, so now we're getting the egg out of the mix, so it doesn't ruin the dish when we heat it. So it stays good. Egg actually has some kind of soapy kind of quality, so it maintains the fats and the waters, according to science, together in the same kind of solution. Here's my chemistry knowledge, and now we have the spices that we're going to add to the yogurt mix base. We add the fennel seed powder, a whole big spoon, a little teaspoon, and a little teaspoon. That's fennel seed powder, and we also have to put ginger powder. Very good for the health and digestion. 1/3 of a spoon or so. And then we mix it thoroughly. So this is 1 pound of yogurt. We have 2 pounds of meat ready to go. And we have chicken here. Now I can actually smell the spices coming from the yogurt. You can't really smell it that well even when the container is open, but now that it's spread out, I can actually smell the yogurt and the spices together, which is certainly different. Like a bit of aromatherapy. Alright, now we have a spoonful of salt. My salt. The raw salt. It has a better flavor.
Okay.
And, I'll put it at the end when you make it water. But it's important to add it now, huh? The salt. That's what it is.
Where is
Oh, it's in the container. You see a lot of?
this one?
But it's I think it's funny when you get less big pieces, too many big pieces. We have some rock salt to add. The rock salt always has to be pulverized, unless you buy it fine, but I don't buy it fine. I like it to be a little solid. Makes me feel like it's special. But I'm adding that too because rock salt actually, they say, has many more minerals than regular salt, and it's more natural. The old school way of cooking. It supposedly has 70 different minerals or something like that. Only 30 of them are useful for humans, they say that. You know, the color has changed because of the spices. And now we're adding all the solid spices. Now that we mix in the powdery spices, which are not as high quality, I feel. Probably ginger is very aromatic. So now we're taking our time with mixing the spices into the food. And we're ready to cook it. And we start with cooking it on high, the maximum heat. So we quickly bring it to a boil while stirring and keeping the motion up. Just make sure that the soup cooks into the right texture and so forth. So everything is perfect when we put in the meat, and then when we boil everything on slow cook. It's very important at this point to keep stirring the pot because that will, otherwise you will ruin the dish while you're just starting. And that's a very frustrating thing to do at the start of the project. So let's keep doing this. I mean, it's already been 12 minutes just making the spices and the base. But I think now this part this is where it becomes from warm up to aerobic exercise. So this part, the stirring, really tires you out. Even with a small thing, you don't have to have a big stick to stir and get tired. I mean, I have pretty bad lifting, so otherwise I would be helping out too. But I have one good wrist, so I'm using it for the camera holding process. So you can see we just save time. We're just using the same dish for making the spices, making the mix, and mixing everything, and even cooking it. Thankfully it's pretty lightweight. I don't know what metal it is, but it's pretty thick. I wish it was like old school. Only like 4 or 5 metals, not hundreds. In the periodic table there's at least 40 metals. Elemental metals. Mercury. I think arsenic's a metal too. There might be a salt. Platinum, cadmium, and so on. So you see we're still stirring pretty energetically. You have to keep it going, otherwise the thickness of the soup won't become a uniform paste basically.
It will split.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know what split means.
It disintegrates into cheese and water.
What? Oh,
Cheese. Cheese particles.
Oh, right, like spoiled milk.
Yes.
Wine milk.
Yeah, spoiled milk.
Yeah, okay, so this is, and you saw a little bit of cheese sticking. And you just keep stirring because otherwise it will become really bad and it won't taste like a yakhni. It will taste like you messed up a dish with milk in it. So now the color is also changing. I think it's becoming more reddish as the cinnamon, the other spices get infused. I wish I could turn the light on. Maybe I can. No. I don't know what I just clicked, but we're still stirring, and the heat is still on high. It looks white on the camera, but it's actually like... Oh wow, it's actually boiling right now, like boiling milk. It's interesting to see, I hope. And visualize it, I can can. It looks just like milk when it's starting to boil over. But it just, we just keep stirring and it's fine. It's becoming more reddish for sure, more orange. It actually looks like milk is supposed to look in the rich orange yellow color. But it's more carroty. Actually looks a lot like carrot now. A carroty orange tinge to the milk or the yogurt and spice and egg mixture. So at the restaurant we're definitely going to plan to have chicken or lamb yakhni. So this is one of the main Kashmiri dishes. Yakhni, basically yogurt-based dish of meat and everything. And we're also going to have lamb cooked with heavy, hot Indian spices. That's called Rogan Josh, and it's basically a red meat. And it's called Rogan, means red, and Josh means passion. So it's the red passion of the lambs, I guess. But it's a very tasty dish. We also have damalu, which is like a baked, actually deep fried whole potatoes, and they're very tasty, spicy, and flavorful. Much better than French fries. Now we're still cooking, and actually now I start to see it doesn't look so much like boiling over milk. And now it looks more like coconut milk or something, a very thick paste. It's becoming more viscous. More like honey. It's like heavy. How many more minutes do we have to keep this? Until it gets really thick. Until it gets really thick, we have to keep going. So you can see, for 7 minutes we have to be continuously using our hands, stirring and stirring and stirring. Very tiring process. I would have switched up the hand already. But you see the heat was still all high because it's helping make this paste more concentrated and more like a paste that you can cook later, the meat in. So maybe I should come back to another video then. Maybe I should wait till we add
Yeah.
Alright, so this is all checking out. The next step, we're going to add the meat.
Once this is ready.
Once this dish is ready. It might take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I really don't know. So we just have to wait and find out.
You can pause it.
Oh, there's no pause.
Okay.
Alright, so you can see, I've been stirring this for the last 5 minutes. And now it's very much reduced down to a paste. You can see it reminds me of dosa mix. Or some kind of pancake mix. So anyway, now it's ready. The yogurt mix is ready, and we're also cooking the chicken on this side. Just the chicken with water. Boiling the chicken in water. And then we're now adding the water to the yogurt mix, so we can extract all the syrupy stuff from the side of the walls and mix it into the water. because now it's finally ready. Now it's ready to be a dish. Now we just have to transfer the water over to the chicken container, and now it's ready for the cooking process, where we can just let it cook as long as we don't forget about it. And then we'll come back and regularly check up on it and stir it up. Just like we are getting all the milk grease off the side, and now everything is nice and fluidy. All the spices are there. And I'm going to take a sniff test. Yeah, reminds me of the bhang. It's just like spicy milk water. But it has a sour yogurt smell to it too. Very nice. So now we just have to put this in this and let it cook for about 30 minutes, 1 hour. We put it on low heat, so we usually do it an hour. And
Let it boil.
we just let it boil, and then eventually it'll be ready. You'll know when it's ready when the chicken is more tender, and it'll taste better too when you let it fully cook and let all the spices and the milk immerse into the chicken mixture. And that's pretty much it for the concluding part of this video. I'm not going to show mixing the steps right now. You can always add more spices at this point, or some vegetables if you want. Usually we don't really put too many vegetables. Kashmiri cuisine is very meat oriented, heavily meat based, very greasy, very spicy. But it suits the weather of the Himalayan valley. You put too many mushrooms, but anyway. Look at this. This is way too much. Do we have to turn it off or keep it going?
We keep doing it.
Okay. So after we added the water, we're still going to boil. Let the water and the spices get mixed in again into this new water. Just trying to scrape the remains off the walls. Alright, there we have a mushroom enhanced chicken mixture, chicken soup mixture. Now we'll just have to add this yakhni to it. So hopefully you caught the process, you were able to take notes, and now
We're
you know,
transferring it to the
No.
larger pot.
now you know how to make yakhni. So now, so the next step after you make the soup, because first you make the paste, then you make the soup. Now you transfer the soup to the bigger container and add the chicken mixture. And oh yeah, right. And before you add the chicken mixture in this soup, in this yogurt soup, you add some ghee, which is basically butter. Clarified butter, so it stays good at room temperature. Involves a manual process of extraction of the omega oils, or whatever oils there are. Alright, so this is the yogurt mixture and the ghee. And I think my dad's gonna add some spices. Oh, mint leaves. This is an important step actually. You add some dried mint leaves.
Good flavor.
They provide a good flavor and very aromatic like the other spices. but we put quite a bit of it because you need that. Personally, I like to add it at the end of my dishes because it tends to evaporate very easily too. But this is how the Kashmiri style do it. Now we're mixing it in. And you can see it's getting, the milk's getting more greenish. The yogurt has a very chocolate milkish, Oreo, Hershey's cookies and cream kind of color to it. Now the chicken has started boiling. I'll slowly add it. A little bit of less made. And now there's the pot. Everything's set. Now we have one last step before we let go of this dish to the hands of time and gas. We have onions. I guess we're going to chop up some onions next, and we're going to add them to the dish. So now you've seen all the different spices and all the different stages when we add the spices. First we add the dry ones and mix them into the yogurt. And then we added the ones we ground to the same mix after adding the eggs too. Or the egg. Then we had to boil everything. And then after everything was ready, the gravy was ready, the yogurt base was ready, then basically we... Oh, this is too high, I think. It's burning unevenly. Yeah, so once we had the gravy, then we added more spices. So make sure you remember the timing, because that is important in the chemistry of the process, I suppose. And now we have the onions cut, a whole bunch of them. I guess that's perfect because I was worried about the mushrooms overpowering the dish, but with the onions it's going to be just right. And that's it, right? That's the last step.
Yeah.
You want me to put it in?
What?
You want me to transfer it?
No. I'm showing you the last step. I'm making the preparation for that.
Oh, I thought that was the last step to add the onion.
You don't have to cook it like that.
Alright, so there's another step of the process actually.
You have to deep fry it.
I thought we were almost done, but we've got a bit to go. You want me to see this or nothing to see here?
Oh, yeah. You have to see it. No, not here.
Oh,
Not here.
should I pause it then?
Yeah, pause.
Now we added some oil, some vegetable oil.
Normally they use mustard oil, but we can't use it
Yeah, the Kashmiri oil that they use is not this cheap vegetable oil, but mustard oil, pure and refined mustard oil. And here we have the onions chopped and ready, and the temperature's on high. You can hear the oil sizzling, starting to sizzle. And we're getting ready to add the onions now. It's a good practice to fry onions. Supposedly neutralizes some negative effect or irritating effect that they have. But some people like that effect and find it more therapeutic. But since cooking is to make the food more palatable,
deep fry.
we're deep frying the onions. This will obviously take a couple of minutes at least. So this is how,
15 minutes.
There's some big pieces. So we're gonna be stirring for the next 15 minutes actually.
This is cooking on mildly.
And now we're keeping the yogurt dish. You can see it's white. It's boiling furiously, but we only have it on medium. Barely medium. So yakhni is now in the cooking process while the onions are starting to deep fry them. And once we finish deep frying the onions, we're going to transfer it into this dish. Are we going to add more water or just transfer the onions? We just simply transfer the onions. We don't do the water. So last time we had to do the water because yakhni was a thick paste and we had to transfer it to a new dish. We added more water to make the paste more dilute. That way the thickness of the paste won't be wasted on the dish and it'll all get in there. Because once you cook it, then it becomes even. Then you can add more water and not have to worry about it as much. Hence you're boiling it and not stirring it now. Because it has already been prepared for the cooking process for the chicken. And you see this still stir frying the onion. It's barely starting to lose its bright white color. It's becoming a more purpley oniony color. Because now the inside is being fried and they tend to resemble now the outside. The flame is still pretty high. And this is the yakhni. A lot of steam evaporating. And flavor and aroma. This is making me pretty hungry. Released into the air. So this is Kunal checking out with a video on how to make yakhni. This is the final step. Adding the onions to the mix, which contains things like chicken, yogurt, spices like mint, and even an egg. So until next time, next cultural video about Kashmir, coming from Kunal, president of Kashmir Korner, which is currently in the planning process, so I can't really discuss much about it. Until next time, have a good rest of the day and hope you get to taste this delicious dish. You can use chicken or you can use lamb for it, or you can use goat, and you can probably use other meats too. I believe the Muslims cook beef in their dishes, but the Hindus, we don't eat the beef. I don't recall too many pork-based dishes either. We tend to eat goat more than that. But anyway, Kunal taking out with another, with the first Kashmir Korner cultural video. Alright, so now we see after 15 minutes of stir frying, maybe more, how the onions have browned out a little bit. Even blacked out. We overdid it a little bit, but actually that blackness kind of adds a little different flavor. It's all good. So this is the onions. Now let me give you a look at the yakhni. See all the yogurt being boiled, all the different meat and the vegetables are there. We're just boiling along the meat, making sure all the germs get killed and it becomes easier to chew.
So now we are transferring this and adding this to the yakhni.
Yeah, now we have to add the onion, fried onion mix, the final spice, the secret ingredient, the silent killing, the one that kills this dish, let's say, hopefully, in my imagination at least. So now we add all the onions to the yogurt mix, the yakhni base. Adding all the onion pieces that stuck to the walls of the pot. And now you just move everything around again and make sure the onions are diffused throughout the soup. That way all their aromatic essence. Wow, look how beautiful it looks already. It's not even cooked yet. So now we cook it for 1 hour after all this work. 1 more hour with everything, and we'll be good to go with our chicken yakhni. And I think my dad's gonna boil the remaining onion juice out of there. Add it to the yakhni mix because you can always use more fluids. We're boiling it for a long time, so we're gonna lose some fluid. Just like when you exercise. So you gotta keep replenishing with water and electrolytes. So drink your Gatorade, because it's got electrolytes. Kunal taken out from Kashmir Korner. Restaurant, educational video, cultural video. A cooking show, in fact, on how to make chicken yakhni. So take notes and try it out.